Warning. This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised.
She was supposed to go after everybody he got with after her.
It was
Yeah, she really
down.
killed the lady for no reason.
We want numbers over here.
Bullshit. But anyways, the last story, we have a cousin. He was with his little cousin that was 16 years old, and he was 23. And he ended up killing her cousin. So with that being said, let's check out the story.
The last message that 17-year-old Zion Foster sent before she disappeared stated that she was on her way home. The teenager told her mother and boyfriend that she was going out that night with her favorite cousin, something that she did at least twice a month. But when her mother sought him out for help finding her the next day, the cousin delivered some surprising news. That he had not seen or spoken to Zion, he said, in years.
Years.
Evan, and welcome to Thought Lounge. Today we're taking a look at a missing persons turned murder case. It's a story about a family and disturbing revelations about who you can trust. Let's take a look.
Classy.
By the way, I'm gonna have to skip a lot of them because the video was long, but I marked.
Do you think, Cammy?
Mother of 6, Sierra Milton, awoke on the 5th of January 2022 to find that her eldest, Zion Foster, had not returned home the night before. Zion was a 12th grader at East Detroit High School. She had only just celebrated her 17th birthday in November. Like most teenagers, Zion had experienced a rebellious streak. She had threatened to run away from home and had even done so the year before, twice. 16 years old and frustrated with her mother's rules, she had run to her grandmother's house. Convinced to return home, she remained for only a few days before leaving again. That time causing enough concern for Sierra to call the police. But it was another false alarm. The teenager was struggling with her granny's recent cancer diagnosis, as well as her own desire for independence. That January morning was different. Zion had completed her serving shift at the Detroit Wing Company the night before. She had asked permission to leave the house after returning home from work. The teenager was honest about who she would be spending time with, her favorite cousin, Jalen. Under these conditions, Sierra agreed and watched Zion walk out the door. That was shortly before 11 p.m. The next day, the 17-year-old's boyfriend, fellow high schooler Vertez Gonzalez, messaged Sierra. Had she heard from Zion because he could no longer reach her? The last text message that he received was at 12:59 a.m. It read OMW, meaning on my way. But Zion didn't make it home. Calls to her phone went straight to voicemail. Messages sent throughout the night were not being received. Finally, at 8:53 a.m., he wrote to her, "Are you alive?" Followed by, "This is the worst thing ever." Adding to the distress over Zion's absence was the response.
What do you say, Chicken?
How did it escalate from that to that quick? Like,
oh yes,
like from the text message, why would you go from "Are you alive"? Like, why would you jump straight?
I
because
text people that
usually respond quick.
If I don't hear from them for a while, I'll definitely text, "Are you alive?"
Yeah, she usually responds quick. So
you got a few little texts from me. You might have got one this weekend.
Sierra received from her cousin, Jalen Brazier. Despite what her daughter had told her, Jalen responded that he had not been with Zion the night before. He asked Sierra exactly how often had Zion claimed that she was spending time with him. Once or twice a month, she said. He messaged her back in frustration. Zion's lies about him were sneaky as hell and not safe, he said. But why lie about spending time at his house? He suggested that she was likely spending time with someone who lived near to him. Zion shared location tracking on her phone with boyfriend Vertez. This tracking had placed her just across the street from Jalen's home, at 11:24 p.m. the night before.
Okay, let me go ahead and skip a little
admittedly,
bit. Right
it was
here.
Zion's mother and her boyfriend that seemed fixated on the idea that she had been with him that night. He had offered to show his ring camera footage to Sierra as well. When she took a look at it, the mother thought that there were gaps in entries for footage for the night of January 4th, which had obviously been deleted.
Never here, but her location did say she was here, and that house across the street. I was like, but she was never here. I don't know. But anyway, I got cameras to show I lived, she was never here.
East Point police found nothing suspicious in the search of the house. There were no indications in there. They listened while Jalen explained his frustrations over being pulled into the drama caused by his 17-year-old cousin, with whom he rarely spends any time.
The times when I left is when I took her to work and we came back, went to get gas. Just basically showing this girl was never in my house. So, and she's known to be a runaway. Like she's ran like 4 times, and every time she got some dude's house.
Okay, remember the way he's talking, right? Remember that.
Yeah.
The way he's talking like, she was never in my house. Remember that.
Her mom knows this. Her mom's just playing it a certain way and it's making me so fucking uncomfortable.
She's known to be a runaway?
Yes, I would assume you guys would know that. Not saying like you're not doing your job, I'm just assuming she would tell you the damage.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Jalen may have been fooling the East Point police at this stage, but not Sierra Milton. She did indeed watch to see who her daughter left with from the house, and she often greeted Jalen herself in the drive when he came by to collect her. She knew he was lying.
He told me he hadn't seen or been in contact with her for 3 years, which is impossible when you were in my driveway and gave me a hug.
Ever go about your day and suddenly you hit that montage?
Get out of here.
Perhaps the easiest way to verify if Zion had been across the street from her cousin's house, as her location data suggested, was to check the neighbor's doorbell cameras.
Here we go. Now they get
At about 11:15 p.m. on January 4th, a white sedan, the car known to be driven by Jalen Brazier, was captured pulling into his drive. Emerging from the vehicle were 2 individuals, clearly seen walking into the house, 1 male and 1 female. Jalen had driven Katrina to work at just before 11 p.m. that night. She was on the midnight shift at a manufacturing job. The shift spanned from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. The second individual who entered the house at 11:15 could not have been Katrina. Phone location data would later confirm the 2 individuals captured entering the home, Jalen Brazier and Zion Foster. The camera did not show Zion leaving.
Damn.
At 1:41 a.m., the same camera from across the street captured Jalen pulling his car out of the drive and then backing it in. The trunk then faced the backyard. After a few minutes, the car drove off. It returned to the house less than 10 minutes later. Search warrants were obtained for the house and the car. Inside the house, the search was fruitless. The contents of the car were carefully itemized and examined, but there was no clear evidence indicating what had happened to Zion. That is, until law enforcement brought in the cadaver dogs.
After that.
The dogs
No DNA, no nothing. What the fuck?
23-year-old, accompanied by a friend who was a lawyer, voluntarily sat down with detectives. It was clear that he had lied about being with Zion on the night that she disappeared. Jalen came forward to offer what he claimed was a truthful version of events from that night. He had picked up Zion from her home and brought her back to his place.
Okay, let me go
He
ahead
put
and
his 2
skip it a little
children,
bit, right?
boys aged 1 and 2 years old, to bed, then joined Zion downstairs in
Right here.
He said that my baby just died, and then that he threw her in a dumpster. Like she was trash.
When Jalen sat down for a follow-up interview the next day, January 20th, inconsistencies began to emerge in his story. He claimed that the two had taken acid that night. It was her response to the psychedelics that must have caused her heart to stop. Of course, this explanation was about as likely as his previous assertion that the marijuana had caused her death. The detective...
Remember, I told y'all, remember the way he was talking? Oh, that was in me, right? Remember the way he was talking. Now look at him right here.
You did say that, Cammy. You did.
Jalen pled his case to the judge at his sentencing.
One, I did turn myself in. Yes, I lied, but I was not in the right state of mind. There was no way for me to prepare for a situation like that. I was scared. I don't know exactly how she passed, what caused her to pass. I just know 1 minute she was cool, she was fine, she laid back for a minute. Next thing I know, she was dead. I don't know what caused it. I did not cause it or anything like that. I reacted stupidly off of fear and panic like I've never felt before in my life. Literally.
And
you think she dies, and then you just
remember the way he's talking again, right here.
Yeah.
He's too matter-of-factly. He's clearly lying.
Yes, remember that.
go to the body.
And at first, he said he didn't know anything. Don't know the girl's not here, right?
Now they was on acid and all this other shit.
He said,
but
then
now-
he said she died off weed.
Yeah,
Now
listen
she's
to him
saying
again,
they
right
died off
again.
acid.
Yeah, the way he said
Bitch,
he
I
was
done
lying.
did both ammo ain't never died.
Just like that. That was your choice.
Did not know what to do. I sat for at least 10 minutes sitting there. Like, what do I do? Who do I call? My kids are upstairs. We just got into this place after struggling for like 2 years to get it, and everything is falling down.
It's not about that.
I don't have any conversation in this book.
And I wish I could take it back. I would have called the ambulance, called her mom, because her mom's so sweet. Her mom is so sweet. I just know.
Shoulda.
I wish I could take it back. Nobody been in the situation. At the very least, they'd be able to be like, okay, this happened, confirm this. And everybody has some sort of peace right now. You know? But
lies. But let me go ahead and skip
His search hit.
Sounds good, buddy.
What if you could upload one mini AI-written ebook onto Amazon that could replace your
history had been held in cloud storage. On January 7th, 3 days after dumping his cousin's body in a dumpster, Jalen performed a handful of Google searches. Are garbage trucks also compactors? What is the force of a garbage truck compactor? How do police get your phone history? And how do you know if police are watching you? In addition to these incriminating searches, investigators found that in the months before the incident, Jalen had performed a number of disturbingly suggestive searches for pornographic content containing the words cousin and step-cousin. Experts were able to retrieve the video results of these searches, some of which were reportedly very violent, as well as graphic in nature.
Insane.
As the case approached trial, a preliminary hearing offered more insight into the additional evidence that had emerged since Jalen's release. This hearing also may have offered Jalen's defense team a new theory. At the hearing, Vertez Gonzalez testified that he believed his girlfriend was taking regular medication for epilepsy. He told the court that Zion told him that she had seizures and that without her medication, they became more frequent and severe.
I don't want to make it too long.
In one instance, Vertez lost with her. But the teenager's previous cell phone was safe at home. Sierra Milton handed this device over to police. On it, they found months of correspondence between her and her favorite cousin. The messages he sent ranged from subtle and unsettling to deeply inappropriate. At times, the messages were sexually explicit. Over 4,000 distinct texts were retrieved from Zion's old device. In them, Jalen routinely invited her over to his home while his girlfriend was away. He offered to put her up in his basement if she ran away from home. He also advised her on how she might evade police if she ran away once more. Wayne County Assistant Prosecutor Ryan Elsey described the texts as pervasive, at times complimentary of her intelligence and looks, at other times probing in an immature way. For example, he suggested to her that other people thought that they were a couple. He said Katrina, the mother of his children, was jealous of her. Isn't that crazy? Did that make sense to her? He then bragged to Zion about how easily he could get with women. At one point, he called himself a god. Prosecutor Elsey concluded by telling the jury that the 23-year-old had been grooming his younger cousin for years, that he fantasized about her, and that on January 4th, he must have acted on his impulses. This was the twisted motive that led to her death.
Okay, here's the last
jurors.
He brought her to his house late at night on January 4th of 2022, behind the back of his pregnant girlfriend, who was at work at the time. He brought Zion over to his house late that night, and she leaves that house in the trunk of his car on a night where he has an unexplained gash on his collarbone. What do you think happened inside that house that night? She died of COVID? She died of a seizure? There's a claim that he did all this. He did what?
Yeah. What do you say, chicken?
What was her cause of death?
You're gonna hear it afterwards, but the cause of her death was he pretty much assaulted her, and then she wasn't approve of it, and then he ended up killing her.
How though? Like,
yeah.
How did he kill her? Like, what was the cause of death?
Them people from Michigan, some real nasty ass freaks. Everybody I done met from Michigan, some nasty old freak ass.
Till these days, they didn't they still don't find the body. Let's play the video. That's the last part.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
What he did because he was afraid of getting caught for marijuana, afraid of getting busted for pot. You can use your common sense. If you go to a marijuana dispensary, there's not going to be a team of ATF agents waiting to bust you and take you to federal prison for that. It's about the equivalent of a parking ticket. You ever heard of somebody getting rid of a body to avoid a parking ticket?
Vertaz himself said Zion told him specifically she had a history of seizures. The question was asked, were you concerned when you saw this? No, I was not concerned because I knew of a history of seizures she told me about and that she was on medication for it. And his understanding is that if she did not take the medication, the seizures would be that much worse.
Sierra Milton and the rest of Zion's family waited as the jury went into deliberations.
Where her mom at?
Just so many inconsistencies that, again, hopefully, the end point of this is that they will see those inconsistencies, see through the lies, and see the truth. That he murdered my daughter, and he disposed of her with absolute disregard for her life.
The jury returned in only 30 minutes.
As to count one, how do you find it? As to count two, how do you find it? Guilty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please raise your right hand.
Guilty. That's right.
Jalen Brazier maintained his innocence of the murder at his sentencing hearing.
I know that the picture's already painted, of course, and so she gets it have it in her head, it is what it is, but Zion was not in any way violent. That wasn't hurt at all. I said that I never wanted to apologize, but I never tried to apologize. That's not true. What I said is I know that my apologies were nothing.
Bitch, you done already been to this hoe. Get this hoe out my courtroom.
Decision on the length of term that Jalen would serve. Judge Donald Knapp outlined the convict's failure to
You feel me, bruh? Nobody want to hear what you got to say, man. Get out of here. You've been lying the whole time, bruh. You lied the whole time. You killed a young lady.
Them people from Michigan, something in that water. They ain't cleaned that water out yet. Them people from Michigan into some freaky ass shit.
I heard. But yeah, he ended up killing her, and yeah, they sent him for 20-some years.
He got 20-something years?
That's it?
Yeah, about 30 to life.
Okay.
30 to life. Yeah.
And where was? Oh, this was Michigan. I was about to say.
He don't never need to get out. He need to get fucking life. What the fuck?
Yeah, they never found her.
He took the life.
Never found her till these days.
You groomed your cousin. You sneaking your cousin in while your baby mama at work.
Pregnant. She was pregnant.
Who was pregnant?
What?
The baby mama.
Oh.
Oh, okay. She was
the baby mama was
away.
pregnant. He snicker and yeah, all types.
He had the car late night, was dropping her off to work and just fucking doing extra shit.
That's why you can't trust a motherfucker from Michigan.
At all. At the fuck off.
Oh man, that is insane, man. That is insane, bro. All you had to do is stop messing around with your cousin.
Straight up.
Or not even start. How about like not even?
There we go. There we go. Cause I nailed it.
Focus on your kid and your newborn baby that's on the way. Like, what the fuck?
And the girl was only the girl had years old. I wouldn't do nearly heavy narcotic, a scheduled narcotic with a bitch that got seizures.
Man,
no, never. Especially if you already know that they do. Like, what the fuck?
He was not remorseful at all because even if I got found guilty and I did the shit, I just have to stand in it. This is the last time I'll be able to address the public. Let me clear my conscience. Justice was served. I am sorry.
Yes, and leave.
You still denying the motherfucking shit after everybody done seen the text messages.
You feel me? But man. But anyways, that's it for today. Today was long. We haven't been long, stayed long. Do long stream for a long time. It's been like almost an hour. But anyways, we appreciate everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in every Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 p.m. man. We're live.
Hello, tune in tomorrow, motherfuckers.
We upload a video every day on YouTube. Check us out, man. Big Chicken, cause I can. Y'all know I appreciate y'all.